Hello and welcome to Beyond Thinking, where we share and discuss about space exploration and humankind. Join us and keep watching. But first, if you like this content, consider liking and subscribing to hear more about Beyond Thinking. The subject of today's video is what would happen if a nuclear explosion occurred in the Marianas Trench. Would the explosion damage the nearby locations? What would happen in the end? We'll consider what might occur and the potential locations where the bomb might blow up the deep trench. The depth. The Mariana Trench is one of the most dangerous areas on Earth because of its depth. Water temperature is below 0 degrees Celsius and it's always dark. The intense water pressure in the trench renders the existence of life as we know it all but impossible. The location. The Mariana Trench is a crescent-shaped scar in the Earth's crust that is more than 1,500 miles or 2,550 kilometers long and an average of 43 miles or 69 kilometers wide. It's situated in the western Pacific east of the Philippines and an average of around 124 miles or 200 kilometers east of the Mariana Islands. Now, were there any daring explorers who ventured down Mariana with such magnitude? Descent to Mariana. On November 15, 1959, co-designer of the Trieste, Jacques Piccard and Ernest Virgil load iron-shot ballast into the submarine in preparation for a test descent into the Marianas Trench. Don Walsh and Swiss explorer Jacques Piccard made history on January 23, 1960, when they descended to the Mariana Trench's Challenger Deep, the lowest point in the ocean. Walsh and Piccard traveled the 6.78-mile, 5-hour journey to the world's deepest known point, making history in the process. What kind of bomb, given its depth, is lethal to the trench? The tar bomba. The tar bomba was the most potent nuclear weapon ever developed and tested. Its code names were Ivan or Vanya, and it also went by the alphanumeric number AN602. Tar bomba was the largest bomb ever to be exploded or even constructed. Can the Earth be destroyed by tar bomba? The energy unleashed by all of the warheads exploding at once, assuming they were all megaton rated, wouldn't wipe out the planet. However, it would create a crater that was about 10 kilometers large and 2 kilometers deep. The impact of the enormous amount of debris sent into the atmosphere would be much more pervasive. Detonating a bomb in Mariana. What would occur then if a nuclear device similar to the tar bomba detonated in the Mariana Trench? During the Cold War, Soviet leader Nikita Khrushchev vowed to show the West a nuclear bomb. Its subsequent blast wave circled the globe 3 times and had 58.6 megatons of pure, unadulterated power. The Mariana Trench is the largest rift in the surface of the Earth, a canyon that is entirely submerged in water, nearly 7 miles or 11 kilometers deep, and up to 3 miles or 5 kilometers wide. A height of 6.5 miles or roughly 10.5 kilometers was used to drop the tar bomba, which was almost as deep as the Mariana Trench. That isn't a coincidence in our opinion. So what happens if we fire the nuclear weapon into the Mariana Trench's depths? Okay, so we've made the decision to detonate the Mariana Trench. These occur prior to the question being answered. Delivering the bomb. We need to devise a strategy for getting the bomb down to a depth of 11 kilometers or 7 miles. It's more complicated than you might imagine. Given that water has a density of 1 gram per cubic centimeter, the pressure in the water at these depths will be 110 megapascals or 1,100 times atmospheric pressure. For our purposes, this implies that a nuclear bomb with a typical lead outer layer will simply get crushed flat without detonating. Of course, the entertaining but unimpressive final product would be 8 huge uranium pancakes measuring 130 feet or 40 meters in diameter and ending up at the Mariana Trench. The 2,000-year uranium half-life means that this pancake will continue to release radiation for centuries. The charge won't be crushed to the point of critical mass in this case, there won't be an explosion, and the thermonuclear shell of the bomb will tear off halfway to the bottom and dissolve in water. Detonating the bomb at depth of 3 to 5 miles. Consider the bomb being dropped inside a bath escape. There are actually several ways for us to get the blast with this deep-sea submersible, which is built to endure extreme pressure and may alternately be remotely controlled. 5 to 8 kilometers would be covered if the bomb exploded at a depth of 3 to 5 miles. The only significant difference between the explosion and a regular undersea nuclear test will be a tsunami that rises to a height of 122 meters or 400 feet on the surface of the Pacific Ocean, totally destroying Southeast Asia and Japan. Additionally, the eastern parts of China and half of Australia will experience severe floods, while the US Pacific coast, particularly San Francisco and Los Angeles, will be pummeled by waves that reach a height of 250 feet or 76 meters. In addition, the background radiation in the Pacific will slightly increase for a few days before returning to normal. Other parts of the world will also experience some radiation, albeit somewhat milder relative to the rest of the world. Detonation at depth of 5 to 7 miles. We must consider the Mariana Depression's location at the boundary between two tectonic plates, the Pacific and the Philippines. If the bomb is detonated at a depth of between 5 and 7 miles, 8 and 11 kilometers, or at the very bottom. The shockwave from the blast, augmented by the hydrostatic effect, will produce a tremendous downward force precisely at the location of one of the lithosphere's weak spots, the junction of tectonic plates. Either scenario could spell trouble for humanity if the world's most powerful nuclear device is detonated there. Detonation at the bottom. We won't be able to escape with only a massive splash if the bomb detonates at or close to the bottom. At the speed of sound, the energy released at the base will reach the tectonic plate boundaries. A portion of the energy will be reflected back up from the trench's bottom and released as a massive ultra superwave when it reaches the surface. The difference being that this time, the tsunami will only be the top of the iceberg. Massive magnitude 12 earthquakes will subsequently shake the entire ring of fire, causing a second round of super uber tsunamis that will even be larger than the first. A massive magma release will occur just after the explosion, and this will trigger a series of volcanic eruptions to complete the picture. This volcanic activity will continue for at least a month, lest these survivors and highlanders think they've gotten lucky. Consequently, expect the land to be battered by apparently never-ending acid rain, and the airborne ash will obstruct necessary air transport for humanitarian operations. That smells a lot like nuclear winter to me, in addition to filtering out a lot of the sun's rays. At the very least, a few years of extreme cold in addition to the tsunamis. The cold snap might cause a global disaster, putting countless species, including humans, on the verge of extinction. Detonation at 1.5 to 2 miles. Another option is that a tar bomba-style explosion at a depth of about 1.5 miles or 2.4 kilometers from the Mariana Trench may rip a large enough hole in the Earth's crust to create a magma fountain. Then the fountain would create a new continent, along with the previously mentioned tsunamis and environmental issues. The planet might be slightly pushed off of its current orbit by the enormous impact. This will either stretch our orbit further out, where we would sink into a form of perpetual winter, or closer to the sun, when we will totally roast and poor old Earth will convert into something akin to a second Venus. The last possibility is that a tectonic fault will be so powerful that an explosion there will just rip the globe apart. It is clear what would happen to humanity in that situation. Treaty in Moscow. Fortunately, none of the aforementioned scenarios are very likely to occur because, as history has shown, people aren't stupid. In fact, shortly after the Tar Bomba atmospheric test's successful conclusion in 1963, the nuclear club countries signed a treaty in Moscow outlawing the testing of nuclear weapons in the atmosphere, space, or even underwater. If you have any thoughts on the ideas discussed in this video, please leave a comment below. If you have enjoyed this content and would like to see more on space exploration and humankind, please like this video and subscribe for more videos on Beyond Thinking. Thank you and have a beyonder nice day.